He says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. He says something fabulous and he goes, yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party.
Took Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image.
Puff would go out and party, and I would be in the studio writing the records, and then I just come back and say, he'll say this is his part or that is his part, but I was the person there creating it all.
Hey, Keith, Metro Police, come over here. Hey, Metro Police, come over here, all right? Thanks, buddy. Come on over here. Appreciate your cooperation, okay?
Do you feel like Puffy owe you?
Yeah, he should. I think he should look out. He look out for everybody else. You know, so
I gave him my price. They're supposed to give me the money. And I go in the studio and I start banging out. Nothing happened. No money. So I stopped recording.
Yeah, I think he should look out. You know what I'm saying? He worth $1 billion. He should come look out.
You know, with this bullish mafia mentality with him and his goons and all that stuff like that. You know, talking about, yo, you know, you owe us an album.
If you don't fire your manager, you can't work for Bad Boy.
I never got paid what I was worth, and I never got the respect I was worth. So the disdain that I got for Puff is more like, you trying to keep...
Is Craig on the album?
Matt?
Yeah.
No. You can't curse?
Yeah, you can curse.
I don't with that.
Yo, Craig.
Paul, okay. He telling me we gotta kick it. He's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? Like, I pay for it. And I was like, just
beats, you ain't getting the money, you ain't getting the publishing, you ain't getting the respect, and I don't think you're like that.
But if it comes to getting ugly where somebody's gonna be trying to kill me, I had a gun in my lap.
Diddy might be one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop, but not everybody bows down to him. For decades, he's been one of the most influential names in the industry, controlling labels, deals, and even the narrative surrounding some of the biggest artists. But in a game where fear can keep people in line, some rappers simply refuse to be intimidated. From calling him out publicly to straight up exposing him behind the scenes, these artists made it clear, Diddy might have power, but they weren't afraid to go head to head with him. And trust me, some of these stories are darker than you'd expect. Stay locked in because by the time we're done, you'll see just how deep this goes. Let's start with one of the most legendary names in hip-hop, Tupac Shakur. If there was one rapper who had absolutely no fear of Diddy, it was Pac. In fact, Pac saw Diddy as the face of everything wrong with the industry. Their beef wasn't just about music, it was about betrayal, about street ties, and possibly even something far more sinister. Back in 1994, Pac was set up and shot at Quad Studios in New York. And while he survived the attack, what really set him off was that he believed Diddy and Biggie knew about it. Pac felt like he was left for dead, and when he got out of the hospital, he had one thing on his mind: revenge. That's when he dropped Hit 'Em Up, one of the most disrespectful diss tracks in history, where he went straight at Bad Boy, calling out Diddy by name and making it clear that he didn't see him as any kind of real threat. He also took shots in interviews, calling Diddy a fake gangster, someone who was only tough when he was surrounded by security. But behind the scenes, Pac wasn't just talking, he was taking action. He aligned himself with Suge Knight and Death Row Records, and together, they made it their mission to destroy Bad Boy's reputation. And let's not forget, this wasn't just about rap, it was about real street tension, real losses, and real consequences. That brings us to Suge Knight, one of the only industry figures who truly had the power to go toe-to-toe with Diddy. While Diddy was making flashy music videos and throwing all-white parties in the Hamptons, Suge was running Death Row like a military operation. And he didn't respect Diddy one bit. The tension exploded in 1995 at the Source Awards when Suge stood on stage in front of a packed crowd and sent one of the most legendary shots in hip-hop history: "If you don't want your executive producer all in the videos, all on the records, dancing, come to Death Row." The entire crowd knew exactly who he was talking about, Diddy. But the real drama was happening behind the scenes. Suge believed that Diddy was behind the murder of his close friend and bodyguard, Big Jake Robles, who was killed outside a nightclub in Atlanta after an argument with Bad Boy affiliates. Suge wanted payback. And that's when things started to spiral. It was Suge who bailed out Tupac and brought him to Death Row, fueling the biggest rap war in history. And the tension got so real that it ended with both Pac and Biggie losing their lives. To this day, there are theories that Suge and Diddy had deeper involvement in those tragedies than anyone is willing to admit. But Suge wasn't the only one who called out Diddy's power plays. One rapper who never bit his tongue when it came to Diddy was 50 Cent. If there's one thing about 50, it's that he doesn't hold back. He's been calling out Diddy for years. From suggesting that Diddy was involved in Biggie's death to exposing his shady business deals, 50 never respected how Diddy moved. One of the biggest moments came when 50 revealed that Diddy was blocking Mase from getting his publishing rights back. See, Mase was once one of Diddy's biggest artists, but when he left Bad Boy, he realized that he didn't actually own his music. Diddy held onto the rights and refused to sell them back, even when Mase offered millions of dollars for them. 50 didn't let that slide. He took to social media and interviews, calling Diddy a manipulator who profited off his artists while leaving them broke. But that wasn't all. 50 also made fun of Diddy's lifestyle, mocking the rumors that always seemed to surround him. He even clowned Diddy for the way he acted around younger artists, making it clear that he didn't respect how he operated in the industry. And speaking of Mase, his fallout with Diddy was one of the ugliest in Bad Boy history. At first, Mase was like a little brother to Diddy. But as he got older, he started seeing the dark side of the business. Diddy controlled everything: his music, his money, even his image. And when Mase tried to leave, Diddy made sure he didn't go far. For years, Mase fought to get his rights back, but Diddy refused to let them go. Eventually, Mase exposed everything, calling Diddy out as a hypocrite who preaches black excellence but takes advantage of his own artists. He even dropped diss tracks aimed at Diddy, making it clear that he wasn't afraid to speak the truth. But Mase wasn't the only artist who had to fight Diddy for freedom. The Lox, one of the hardest rap groups to ever come out of New York, had to go to war just to get out of their contract with Bad Boy. Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheek Louch were signed to Diddy early in their career, but they quickly realized that their deal was a trap. Diddy controlled their publishing, meaning he was making more money off their music than they were. When they asked to be released, Diddy refused. So, they did what no other artist had done before: they went on Hot 97 and called him out live on air. They put so much pressure on Diddy that he had no choice but to let them go. But even after that, Jadakiss kept throwing shots at Diddy, making it clear that he would never let himself be controlled again. And we can't forget about Rick Ross. Now, at first, Ross and Diddy seemed cool. But over time, Ross started taking subtle shots at Diddy's business practices. Ross built his own empire, and he did it without locking his artists into bad deals. That was a direct contrast to how Diddy operated. Ross believed in ownership, while Diddy was all about control. So, when Ross rapped about being a real boss, many people saw it as a low-key jab at Diddy. And Ross never let himself be under Diddy's thumb, even when they worked together. The list goes on and on. So many rappers have had their run-ins with Diddy, and the pattern is always the same. He's powerful, he's strategic, but some people see him as more of a businessman than a real player in the streets. And when you mix money, ego, and history together, it creates dangerous situations. At the end of the day, Diddy might be one of the biggest names in hip-hop, but there have always been rappers who refused to fear him. Some challenged his business moves, others questioned his street credibility, and some even suggested he had a hand in some of the darkest moments in rap history. But one thing is clear: these rappers never back down. And in an industry where power means everything, that's rare.